Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. The US announces additional $6 billion long-term military aid package for Ukraine under Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative.
This is the largest security assistance package that we've committed to date.
India's northeastern states lead in poll percentage when the second phase of parliamentary elections ended on Friday. Campaigning for third phase gains momentum. Triple glory for India at the Archery World Cup. India claimed gold in men's and women's compound team event. Let's get to updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict first. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has announced new weapons purchases for Ukraine worth $6 billion on Friday. The announcement comes days after President Biden signed a long-awaited aid package containing $61 billion in military support for Ukraine. In a media briefing, Austin said that the U.S. will provide Ukraine additional Patriot missiles for its air defense systems as part of additional aid package. The new funding, the largest tranche of U.S. AI aid, in fact, sent to date, also includes high-mobility artillery rocket system or the HIMARS, as well as Switchblade and Puma drones, counter-drone systems and artillery.
I'm also pleased to announce today an additional commitment of $6 billion through our Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. That will allow us to procure new capabilities for Ukraine from U.S. industry. This is the largest security assistance package that we've committed to date.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed the need for Patriots early on Friday at the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, a coalition of about 50 countries gathering virtually in a Pentagon-led meeting. Zelensky said at least 7 Patriot systems are needed to protect Ukrainian cities. He added, Patriots can and should save lives right now. The Ukraine Defense Contact Group has been meeting about monthly for the past 2 years and is the primary forum for weapons distribution to Kyiv for the war. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg called on other allies to follow Germany's example and to increase their aid to Ukraine during a visit to Germany on Friday.
Germany is the biggest European contributor of military aid to Ukraine. You just decided to send a third Patriot system to Ukraine. And I strongly believe that other allies should follow the example of Germany.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken raised concerns on Friday about China's support for Russia's military, one of the main issues threatening to sour the recent improvement in relations between the world's biggest economies. Blinken raised the matter during 5.5 hours of talks with China's top diplomat Wang Yi in Beijing, the latest high-level contact between the countries that have eased last year's acrimony. The visit produced little progress on contentious issues, including U.S. complaints about cheap Chinese exports and tensions over Taiwan and the South China Sea.
I reiterated our serious concern about the PRC providing components that are powering Russia's brutal war of aggression against Ukraine. China is the top supplier of machine tools, microelectronics, nitrocellulose, which is critical to making munitions and rocket propellants, and other dual-use items that Moscow is using to ramp up its defense industrial base. A defense industrial base that is churning out rockets, drones, tanks, and other weapons that President Putin is using to invade a sovereign country, to demolish its power grid and other civilian infrastructure, to kill innocent children, women, and men.
On his visit to China, Blinken also clarified that U.S. export controls on sending advanced computing chips to China are not meant to hold back China's economy or technological development. Since 2022, U.S. officials have imposed sweeping controls on which computing chips can be exported to China. But U.S. officials have granted at least 2 U.S. companies, Intel and Qualcomm, licenses to keep shipping chips to Huawei, which is using an Intel chip to power a new laptop model. China has urged the U.S. to stop hyping up the false narrative of China's overcapacity and asked for it to lift what it called illegal sanctions on Chinese companies. The statement came after the meeting between U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi on Friday. Chinese President Xi Jinping also reiterated Beijing's concerns that Washington was suppressing its economic development with his meeting with Blinken. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Iran should question the effectiveness of its weapons system after its failed attack on Israel earlier this month. He added that Israel has significant ability to defend itself.
Now, what the Iranians learn, I'm not really sure, but what they should learn is that, first of all, their systems don't work as advertised, that they employed a lot of munitions with the intent on creating significant damage in Israel. They should be questioning the effectiveness of their weapon systems and their planning. So hopefully they don't walk away from this overconfident that they can do this at will, because I think Israel has demonstrated that it has a significant ability to defend itself.
Israel's military on Friday released a video of what it says is its air force striking a terrorist who advanced attacks against Israel in Lebanon's West Bekaa district. In a statement, the IDF said an aircraft struck and eliminated Mossab Khalaf in the area of Medoun in Lebanon, a senior terrorist in the Jama Islamiyah terrorist organization who advanced a large number of terror attacks against Israel. It further said the Jama Islamiyah terrorist organization recently planned and promoted a large number of terror attacks from Lebanese territory against Israel in the area of Hardov, as well as additional areas in northern Israel. Israel's hardline National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir was slightly hurt in a car accident and was taken to a hospital on Friday. Police Commissioner Kobi Shabtai said 2 other people were injured in the incident and they were investigating the circumstances. Ben-Gvir was leaving the scene in the city of Ramleh near Tel Aviv, where police said a suspected stabbing attack had occurred shortly before. The U.S. military said on Friday that Iran-backed Houthis launched 3 anti-ship ballistic missiles into the Red Sea from Yemen, causing minor damage to 1 ship, the UK-owned MV Andromeda Star. U.S. Central Command said on the social media platform X that a missile landed in the vicinity of a second vessel, the MV Maisha, but it was not damaged. Yemen's Houthi said on Saturday that their missiles hit Andromeda Star oil tanker in the Red Sea. Houthi spokesman Yahya Sarriya said the Panama-flagged ship was British-owned, but shipping data showed it was recently sold. Its current owner is Seychelles registered. The tanker is engaged in Russia-linked trade and it was en route from Primorsk, Russia to Vadinar. Houthi terrorists have launched repeated drone and missile strikes in the Red Sea, Bab al-Mandab Strait, and Gulf of Aden since November, forcing shippers to reroute cargo to longer and more expensive journeys around southern Africa. The attack on the Andromeda Star comes after a brief pause in the Houthis' campaign that targets ships with ties to Israel, United States and Britain. Hamas said it had received on Saturday Israel's official response to its position over ceasefire talks and will study the proposal before submitting its response. Hamas's deputy Gaza chief Khalil al-Hayya in a statement informed about the development. After more than 6 months of Gaza conflict, the negotiations remain deadlocked, with Hamas sticking to its demand that any agreement must end the conflict. An Egyptian delegation visited Israel for discussion with Israeli officials on Friday, looking for a way to restart talks to end the conflict and return the remaining hostages taken when Hamas fighters stormed into Israeli towns on October 7th. The United States and 17 other countries appealed to Hamas on Thursday to release all of its hostages as a pathway to end the crisis. A UN spokesperson informed that Office of Internal Oversight Services has been investigating 19 UNRWA staff members who were terminated. UNRWA is considering what administrative action is to be taken while they are under investigation. One case was closed as no evidence was provided by Israel to support the allegations against the staff member. The second week of former U.S. President Donald Trump's hush money trial concluded on Friday afternoon. The former president is charged with falsifying business records in connection with a hush money payment to an adult film actress before the 2016 presidential election. Three of the prosecution's witnesses testified on Friday: ex-tabloid publisher David Pecker, Trump's former longtime assistant Ronna Graff, and Michael Cohen's former banker Gary Farrow. Take a look at this detailed report.
David Packer testified that he suppressed a story about an alleged affair to help Trump's 2016 presidential bid, even though it would have boosted sales of his tabloid. Packer was the first witness in the case who accused Trump 77 of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money payment to adult star Stormy Daniels. Packer's testimony was followed by witness Ronna Graff, a longtime Trump assistant and a banker who dealt with Michael Cohen. Graff testified that she once saw Daniels at Trump Tower before he ran for president. She said she heard Trump say he was interested in casting her on The Apprentice, the reality TV show he hosted. She said the email addresses of Daniels and McDougal were stored in the computer systems of Trump's company. The trial is set to resume Tuesday morning. Jurors will now have a 3-day weekend to think about what they heard during the first full week of testimony in the historic Donald Trump hush money trial.
Jeremy Cooper, a former paramedic in Aurora in Colorado, was sentenced to 4 years probation, 14 months of work release and 100 hours of community service on Friday. Cooper and another paramedic, Peter Sikunich, were found guilty of criminally negligent homicide in December in the death of Elijah McClain, a 23-year-old black man who was subdued by police and injected with ketamine on August 24, 2019. Colorado has undergone significant police reform since the killing of McClain and the following year's racial justice protests ignited by the killing of George Floyd at the hands of police in Minnesota. Colorado confirmed its first case of bird flu in dairy milking cattle. The case was confirmed, making Colorado the 9th U.S. state with a confirmed case. The U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed milking cows in Colorado tested positive following earlier infections in Texas, Kansas, Michigan, Ohio, Idaho, New Mexico, North Carolina, and South Dakota. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration late on Friday said that preliminary results from gold standard PCR testing showed pasteurization killed the virus in milk and baby formula. It did not say how many milk products it has tested, but added that it plans to do more testing on 297 products from 38 states. Also, the current overall public health risk posed by H5N1 bird flu virus is low. The World Health Organization has urged countries to stay alert for cases of animal to human transmission. A day after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken ended a visit to China, Taiwan reported renewed Chinese military activity near the island on Saturday, with 12 aircraft crossing the sensitive median line of the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's defense ministry said that from 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, it had detected 22 Chinese military aircraft, including Su-30 fighters, of which 12 had crossed the median line to Taiwan's north and center. Taiwan's defense ministry said the aircraft were involved in joint combat readiness patrols with Chinese warships, adding that Taiwanese aircraft and ships responded appropriately. It did not give details, though. The United States is Taiwan's most important international supporter and arms supplier, despite the absence of formal diplomatic ties. Blinken said he had stressed on the critical importance of maintaining peace and stability across the strait while in China. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck just off Taiwan's eastern county of Hualien on Saturday. There have been no reports of damage so far. The quake shook buildings in the capital Taipei. Taiwan has been hit by more than 1,000 aftershocks since a 7.2 magnitude quake struck Hualien earlier this month, killing 17 people. Flooding and heavy rains have killed at least 70 people in Kenya since mid-March. Kenya and other countries in East Africa have been lashed by severe downpours in recent weeks. Kenyans have been warned to stay on alert with more heavy rains forecast across the country in the coming days as the monsoon batters East Africa. In the United States, violent tornadoes slammed Nebraska on Friday evening, causing severe damage in Omaha City. Hundreds of homes and other structures were damaged as tornado tore for miles along the farmland and into subdivisions. The Epley airfield, also known as Omaha Airport, was closed upon touchdown of the tornado. The Macau Grand Prix Museum has opened an exhibition, Lego Speed Racing, in Hong Kong on Friday. The presentation of Formula 3 racing cars, a full-scale model based on the original cars, made entirely of Lego pieces, was the main attraction of the event. Interestingly, the exhibitors can build their version of the miniature race cars during the exhibition. Up next, we're heading for a short break, but after the break, ahead of general elections, two characters of the folk drama, Ranglo and Rangli, were made mascots in Gujarat's Vadodara for voting awareness. And with 3 months to go, Paris receives the Olympic flame for 2024 Games. Qutub Minar in the national capital was lit up with a special message. What was it? We tell you ahead.
The connection between the wellness of our planet and our own well-being is more direct than we tend to believe. Let's explore more ways of helping the nature and in turn helping ourselves.
So tigers are water babies. If the forest is degraded, you will not have perennial water bodies. Then the streams will dry out and therefore you don't have tigers.
These are all valuable to our economy, but they aren't valued in our economy. Nature like this is being left out of the equation.
Litter on the street always infuriated Malarvari Muthu and her daughter-in-law Rajavalli Rajiv. They thought that people might not throw their garbage on the street if they could get money for it instead. And that's how the idea for the garbage bank was born.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. The poll fever runs high in India as the voting for second phase of general elections in the country was held on Friday. Among the 13 states and union territories, the northeastern state of Tripura recorded the highest voter turnout on Friday. Manipur recorded the second highest turnout at 77.3%. Campaigning for the third phase of Lok Sabha elections gains momentum. Political parties are gearing up to woo the voters. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Maharashtra and Goa today in order to garner support for the party's favour. Prime Minister will hold rallies in Kolhapur and South Goa. Senior Bharatiya Janata Party leader and Union Home Minister Amit Shah will visit Gujarat, where he will be holding rallies in Porbandar, Bharuch, Panchmahal and Vadodara. With the election campaign at its peak, political leaders are holding rallies and roadshows across the country. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge will visit Assam. He will be holding a rally in Guwahati and later on he will hold a press conference in Assam's Barpeta. To garner support for the party's favour, Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi will hold a rally in Maharashtra's Latur district. Vadodara Lok Sabha constituency in India's state of Gujarat is set for the third phase of assembly polls on May 7th. Two characters of folk drama, Ranglo and Rangli, were made mascots for voting awareness ahead of the poll. There is good news coming in from UAE. Gina Justice, a teacher at our own English high school, Sharjah Girls Branch, has been named the regional winner for the Middle East and North Africa in the 2024 Cambridge Dedicated Teacher Awards. Justice, originally from Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala, has been working in the UAE since 2005 and was recognized for her outstanding mentorship and dedication towards charity. This year's competition saw a record-breaking number of nominations with over 14,840 submissions from 141 countries. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted heat wave over east and south peninsular areas of the country till April 30th. Heat wave to severe heat wave conditions are likely to prevail in many places over Gangetic, West Bengal, in some parts over Odisha and in isolated pockets over sub-Himalayan West Bengal. A heat wave alert has also been issued for Maharashtra's Thane, Raigad districts and parts of Mumbai till April 29th. Delhi is expected to receive light rains with thunder showers on Saturday, accompanied by gusty winds. Forest fires in India's Uttarakhand became more severe on Friday. Indian Air Force Mi-17 helicopter struggled to put off the fire as it carried water from Bhimtal Lake to spray over the forest fire. The Forest Department called in the IAF and Indian Army to help control the situation, which has been witnessing burning of forests for more than 36 hours and had destroyed hectares. State's Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami will hold a meeting to discuss the situation. A three-day Shimla Art Festival begins in India's Shimla city. The Himachal Art Festival began on Friday at Bantonic Castle, which saw the participation of 350 artists. 32 well-known artists from across the country are participating, including Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Delhi, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. In sports, the Indian men's and women's teams claimed a gold each in the compound events at the ongoing Archery World Cup Stage 1 in Shanghai on Saturday. The women's team led the charge as the trio of Jyoti Surekha Venam, Aditi Swami and Perneet Kaur got the better of Italy's Marcella Tinioli, Irene Franchini and Elisa Rona by 236 for 225. The Indian women's team just dropped 4 points and managed to beat the 6th-seeded Italy without breaking a sweat. On the other hand, Abhishek Verma, Priyansh and Prathamesh Fuge produced a similar display of dominance against Netherlands and came out victorious by 238 for 231. The Indian men's team dropped just 2 points. India added a third goal to their kitty as the pair of Jyoti Surekha Venam and Abhishek Verma won the compound mixed team gold final by defeating Estonia 158 by 157. In IPL, Punjab Kings set a new world record for the highest run chase in the history of T20 cricket as they overhauled the 362-run target set by Kolkata Knight Riders in the eastern city of Kolkata. Sent into bat, Kolkata Knight Riders scored 261 for 6, but Punjab Kings completed the chase, scoring 262 with 8 balls to spare. Punjab bettered South Africa's 259 for 4 against West Indies in March last year. Rajasthan Royals held the previous record for chasing down 224 against Kolkata at Eden Gardens recently, equaling the record they had set against the then Kings 11 Punjab in 2020 in Sharjah. Paris 2024 Olympics organizers on Friday received the Games flame in a handover ceremony in Athens ahead of a 68-day torch relay that will end with the opening ceremony on July 26th. The flame arrived at the central Athens Panathenaic Stadium, the site of the first modern Olympics in 1896, after an 11-day relay across Greece and following the lighting in ancient Olympia last week. Several thousand fans and tourists sat in the stands of the horseshoe-shaped marble stadium on a sun-drenched afternoon as the head of the Paris Games, Tony Estanguet, received the torch from Greek Olympic Committee President Spyros Kaprilos. He carried it out of the stadium and the flame will be kept in a lantern overnight at the French embassy in the Greek capital. The flame will leave on Saturday on board the 3-masted ship, the Bellum, for the French port of Marseille, where it will arrive on May 8th. Brazil's all-time top scorer in both men's and women's football, Marta, will retire from internationals this year. The 38-year-old striker announced her retirement ahead of the Paris Olympics. Marta, who has been playing in the United States with Orlando Pride since 2017, hopes to make her 6th appearance at the Olympics at this year's Paris Games. Marta, affectionately known as Queen Marta, is the all-time highest scorer for Brazil with 116 goals in 175 matches. She's also the top scorer in the Women's World Cup with 17 goals, finishing runner-up in 2007. She has won 3 Copa America Femenina titles and was part of the Brazil team that claimed silver medals at the 2004 and 2008 Games. Historic building of Qutub Minar in India's capital, New Delhi, was lit up with a message to encourage voters to exercise their franchise. Delhi will go to polls in phase 6 on May 25th. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screens to download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.
Voice of a rising